Picture this, a love so profound that it defies the boundaries of life and death. A musician, gifted with a voice that could move the gods themselves, descends into the underworld to reclaim his beloved. But as he turns to gaze at her, just one step away from freedom, she vanishes forever. This is the story of Orpheus and Eurydice, a tale of love, loss, and the cruel hand of fate. It's a story that has echoed through the ages, reminding us that even the purest love can be shattered by forces beyond our control. Love, in all its beauty and tragedy, has been a cornerstone of human storytelling since the dawn of time. But nowhere is it more vividly captured than in the myths of ancient civilizations. These stories, passed down through generations, are more than just tales. They are windows into the human soul, exploring the depths of passion, the sting of betrayal, and the ache of unfulfilled longing. They endure because they speak to something universal, something timeless, the power of love to uplift, to destroy, and to transform. In this video, we'll journey through 20 of the most tragic love stories in mythology. From star-crossed lovers separated by fate to forbidden romances that defy the gods, these tales will take you on an emotional roller coaster. Each story is a testament to the enduring power of love, even in the face of insurmountable odds. By the end, you'll not only have a deeper understanding of these ancient myths, but also a renewed appreciation for the complexities of the human heart. So, are you ready to dive into the world of gods, mortals, and the love that binds them? Let's begin. Now turning to the story of Orpheus and Eurydice, we find a love so powerful it defied the very boundaries of life and death. Orpheus, a musician whose melodies could charm even the gods, was deeply in love with Eurydice, but their happiness was short-lived. When Eurydice died from a snakebite, Orpheus was consumed by grief. Refusing to accept her loss, he made the perilous journey to the underworld, determined to bring her back. His music moved Hades, the god of the dead, who agreed to let Eurydice return to the world of the living on one condition. Orpheus must not look back at her until they had both reached the surface. Filled with hope, Orpheus began the ascent, Eurydice following silently behind. But as they neared the light, doubt crept in. Was she really there? Could he trust the gods? Unable to resist, he turned to look at her, and in that moment Eurydice was torn from him forever. The tragedy of Orpheus and Eurydice lies not just in their separation, but in the cruel twist of fate that made their reunion so tantalizingly close, yet impossible. It's a story that speaks to the fragility of trust, the weight of doubt, and the inevitability of fate. Orpheus's loss resonates deeply because it reminds us that even the strongest love can be undone by a single moment of weakness. This tale, steeped in sorrow, sets the stage for the many tragic love stories we'll explore. Each one, like Orpheus and Eurydice's, reveals the profound ways love can shape, uplift, and devastate us. As we move forward, let's carry with us the lessons of their story. That love, though beautiful, is often intertwined with pain, and that even the most powerful bonds can be broken by forces beyond our control. Now turning to the story of Pyramus and Thisbe, we encounter a tale of love that echoes across centuries, often seen as the ancient inspiration for Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. Pyramus and Thisbe were two young lovers living in Babylon, separated not by family feuds but by a wall that divided their homes. Despite this barrier, they found a way to communicate through a small crack in the wall, whispering their love and longing to one another. Their passion burned brightly, but their circumstances forced them to meet in secret, away from the watchful eyes of their families. One night, they planned to escape together and meet under a mulberry tree outside the city. Thisbe arrived first, but as she waited, a lioness appeared, her jaws stained with blood from a recent kill. Terrified, Thisbe fled, dropping her veil as she ran. The lioness, finding the veil, tore it apart and left it stained with blood. When Pyramus arrived and saw the torn, bloodied veil, he was overcome with despair. Believing Thisbe had been killed, he drew his sword and took his own life, unable to bear the thought of living without her. Moments later, Thisbe returned to find Pyramus dying. Heartbroken, she took his sword and joined him in death. The mulberry tree, once white with fruit, turned red from their blood, a symbol of their tragic love and the consequences of miscommunication. This story reminds us of the intensity of youthful passion and how easily misunderstandings can lead to irreversible tragedy. Pyramus and Thisbe's love, though pure and fervent, was doomed by a cruel twist of fate and the weight of assumptions. Their tale serves as a poignant reminder of the fragility of love and the importance of clarity in the face of uncertainty. As we reflect on their story, we see how it mirrors the timeless struggles of love, miscommunication, haste, and the devastating power of assumptions. It's a narrative that continues to resonate, reminding us that even the most passionate love can be undone by a single moment of misunderstanding. Now turning to the story of Hero and Leander, we find a tale of love that defied the boundaries of land and sea. Hero, a priestess of Aphrodite, lived in a tower by the Hellespont, a narrow strait separating Europe and Asia. Across the water, Leander, a young man from Abydos, fell deeply in love with her after seeing her at a festival. Though their love was forbidden, Hero was sworn to chastity. As a priestess, their passion could not be contained. Each night, guided by a lamp Hero lit in her tower, Leander would swim across the treacherous waters of the Hellespont to be with her. The journey was perilous, but his love for Hero gave him the strength to brave the currents. Their secret meetings became a testament to their devotion, a love that thrived in the shadows of danger and secrecy. But one fateful night, a violent storm swept across the Hellespont. The winds extinguished Hero's guiding lamp, leaving Leander lost in the darkness. Without the light to guide him, he was overwhelmed by the raging waves and drowned. The next morning, Hero, standing at the edge of her tower, saw his lifeless body washed ashore. Overcome with grief and unable to bear the thought of a life without him, she threw herself from the tower, joining him in death. Their story is one of unwavering devotion and the lengths to which love can drive us. It also highlights the destructive power of nature, which in a single night shattered their dreams and ended their lives. Hero and Leander's love was as fierce as the storm that claimed them, a reminder of how fragile human connections can be in the face of forces beyond our control. As we reflect on their tragic tale, we see the themes of sacrifice and the relentless pursuit of love, even when the odds are stacked against us. Their story, though heartbreaking, speaks to the enduring power of love and the risks we are willing to take for those we hold dear. Now turning to the story of Tristan and Isolde, we enter the world of medieval legend where love and duty collide in a tale of passion and heartbreak. Tristan, a brave and loyal knight, was tasked with escorting Isolde, an Irish princess, to marry his uncle, King Mark of Cornwall. What began as a simple journey soon turned into a story of forbidden love that would echo through the ages. During their voyage, Tristan and Isolde accidentally drank a love potion meant for Isolde and King Mark. The potion bound them together in an irresistible and all-consuming love, one that defied reason and loyalty. Despite their best efforts to resist, their feelings for each other grew stronger, leading to a secret affair that would have dire consequences. Tristan, torn between his love for Isolde and his duty to his king, struggled to reconcile his conflicting loyalties. Isolde, too, faced the impossible choice between her heart and her obligations as a queen. Their love was a fire that could not be extinguished, but it burned brightly in the shadows, hidden from the world. As their affair continued, suspicion grew, and King Mark eventually discovered their betrayal. Tristan was banished, and Isolde was left to face the consequences of their actions. In the end, both lovers met tragic fates. Tristan, wounded in battle, sent for Isolde, hoping to see her one last time. But when her ship arrived too late, he died of grief. Isolde, upon finding Tristan dead, succumbed to her own sorrow, dying by his side. Their story is a poignant exploration of the conflict between love and duty, loyalty and betrayal. It reminds us of the power of love to transcend boundaries, even as it leads to destruction. Tristan and Isolde's tale is a testament to the enduring allure of forbidden love and the sacrifices it demands, leaving us to ponder the price of passion and the weight of our choices. Now turning to the story of Cupid and Psyche, we step into a tale of love, betrayal, and redemption that transcends the boundaries between mortals and gods. Psyche, a mortal woman of unparalleled beauty, drew the envy of Venus, the goddess of love, who sent her son Cupid to make Psyche fall in love with a monstrous creature. But when Cupid saw Psyche, he was so captivated by her beauty that he accidentally pricked himself with his own arrow, falling deeply in love with her. Cupid, unable to reveal his true identity, brought Psyche to a magnificent palace where he visited her only under the cover of darkness. He made her promise never to try to see his face, warning her that doing so would bring about their separation. For a time, Psyche was content, basking in the love and luxury that surrounded her, but curiosity and doubt began to creep in, fueled by the whispers of her jealous sisters, who convinced her that her mysterious lover might be a monster. One night, unable to resist the temptation, Psyche lit a lamp and gazed upon Cupid's face. Overcome by his beauty, she accidentally spilled a drop of oil on him, waking him. Betrayed and heartbroken, Cupid fled, leaving Psyche to face the consequences of her actions. Determined to win back his love, Psyche embarked on a series of seemingly impossible tasks set by Venus, who sought to punish her for daring to love a god. Psyche's trials tested her strength, courage, and perseverance. She sorted a mountain of mixed grains, retrieved golden wool from fierce sheep, and even descended into the underworld to fetch a box of beauty from Proserpina. Through each challenge, Psyche's love for Cupid never wavered, and her determination to prove her worth grew stronger. In the end, her unwavering devotion moved the gods, and Cupid, unable to stay away, returned to her. Their reunion marked the beginning of a new chapter as Psyche was granted immortality, allowing her and Cupid to be together forever. Their story is a powerful exploration of trust, perseverance, and the transformative power of love. It reminds us that love, though often tested, can overcome even the greatest obstacles, and that true devotion can lead to redemption and eternal happiness. As we reflect on Psyche's journey, we are reminded of the strength it takes to fight for love and the rewards that come from staying true to one's heart. Now turning to the story of Dido and Aeneas, we encounter a tale of love, duty, and heartbreak that echoes through the ages. Dido, the queen of Carthage, was a woman of strength and vision, having fled her homeland to build a new kingdom. Her life took a dramatic turn when Aeneas, the Trojan hero, arrived on her shores. Aeneas, destined by the gods to found Rome, was a man burdened by fate, yet his meeting with Dido would change both their lives forever. Their love blossomed quickly, fueled by the intervention of the gods. Venus, Aeneas's mother, and Juno, who favored Carthage, conspired to bring the two together, hoping to unite their fates. For a time, Dido and Aeneas found happiness, ruling Carthage side by side and dreaming of a shared future. But their joy was short-lived. The gods had other plans for Aeneas, and Mercury was sent to remind him of his destiny to establish a new homeland in Italy. Torn between his love for Dido and his duty to the gods, Aeneas made the agonizing decision to leave Carthage. Dido, devastated by his departure, pleaded with him to stay, but Aeneas, bound by his sense of obligation, could not defy the will of the gods. As his ships sailed away, Dido's heartbreak turned to despair. In her anguish, she built a funeral pyre, declaring that her death would haunt Aeneas forever. With her final breath, she took her own life, cursing Aeneas and his descendants. The story of Dido and Aeneas is a poignant exploration of the clash between personal desires and the demands of fate. Dido's love for Aeneas was genuine and profound, but it could not withstand the weight of his destiny. Her tragic end serves as a reminder of the sacrifices often demanded by duty and the devastating consequences of abandonment. As we reflect on their story, we are left to ponder the complexities of love, the inevitability of fate, and the heartache that can arise when the two collide. Moving forward, we will delve into another tale of love and loss, where passion and betrayal intertwine in the most unexpected ways. Now turning to the story of Paris and Helen, we step into one of the most infamous love affairs in mythology, a tale that ignited the flames of the Trojan War. Paris, a prince of Troy, was tasked with choosing the most beautiful goddess among Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite. His decision to award the golden apple to Aphrodite, who promised him the love of the most beautiful woman in the world, set the stage for tragedy. That woman was Helen, the wife of Menelaus, king of Sparta. When Paris visited Sparta, he and Helen fell deeply in love, and their elopement to Troy became the spark that would engulf the ancient world in war. The consequences of their love were catastrophic. Menelaus, enraged by Helen's betrayal, rallied the Greek forces, including legendary heroes like Achilles and Odysseus, to reclaim her. What followed was a decade-long siege of Troy, marked by bloodshed, heroism, and treachery. The city of Troy, once a symbol of grandeur, was reduced to ashes, its people scattered or enslaved. Paris, though driven by passion, could not escape the consequences of his actions. He met his end on the battlefield, struck by a poisoned arrow, while Helen, though spared, was left to grapple with the guilt and sorrow of the destruction her love had caused. The story of Paris and Helen is a powerful exploration of passion and its far-reaching consequences. Their love, while genuine, was born of betrayal and selfishness, and it unleashed a chain of events that reshaped the ancient world. Themes of desire, loyalty, and the devastating impact of choices are woven throughout their tale. As we reflect on their story, we are reminded of the delicate balance between love and responsibility, and how the pursuit of passion can sometimes lead to unimaginable tragedy. Moving forward, we will uncover another tale of love and loss, where vanity and unrequited love intertwine in a hauntingly beautiful way. Now turning to the story of Narcissus and Echo, we enter a world where love is as fleeting as a whisper and as consuming as a flame. Narcissus, a young man of extraordinary beauty, was admired by all who saw him, yet he remained indifferent to their affections. His heart was cold, untouched by the love others offered, until one fateful day when he encountered his own reflection in a pool of water. Mesmerized by the image staring back at him, Narcissus fell deeply in love, not realizing it was merely his own face. He became so entranced that he could not tear himself away, wasting away by the water's edge, consumed by a love that could never be returned. Echo, a nymph cursed by the goddess Hera to only repeat the words of others, had long harbored feelings for Narcissus. She followed him silently, longing to express her love, but her curse prevented her from speaking her own words. When she finally approached him, she could only echo his phrases, leaving Narcissus confused and uninterested. Heartbroken and rejected, Echo retreated into the forest, her body fading until only her voice remained, forever repeating the sounds of others. The intertwined fates of Narcissus and Echo reveal the tragic consequences of unrequited love and self-obsession. Narcissus's vanity led him to a love that was ultimately hollow, while Echo's inability to communicate her true feelings left her trapped in a cycle of longing and despair. Their story serves as a poignant reminder of the dangers of vanity and the pain of loving someone who cannot or will not love you back. Themes of self-absorption, the futility of unreturned affection, and the fragility of communication are woven deeply into their tale. As we reflect on their tragic ends, we are reminded of the importance of looking beyond ourselves and valuing the love that others offer. Moving forward, we will explore a story of enduring love and humility, where kindness and devotion are rewarded in the most unexpected ways. Now turning to the story of Baucis and Philemon, we encounter a tale that stands in stark contrast to the tragedies we've explored so far. This is a story not of heartbreak or vanity, but of enduring love, humility, and the rewards of kindness. Baucis and Philemon were an elderly couple living in a modest cottage in the countryside. Though they had little in terms of material wealth, their hearts were rich with compassion and generosity. Their lives were simple, yet their bond was unshakable, a testament to the power of love that grows stronger with time. One day, the gods Zeus and Hermes, disguised as weary travelers, arrived in the village seeking shelter. They knocked on many doors, but the villagers, consumed by greed and indifference, turned them away. Only Baucis and Philemon welcomed the strangers into their home, offering them the little food and comfort they had. They shared their bread, poured their last drops of wine, and even prepared their only goose for the meal. Unbeknownst to them, their humble hospitality was being tested by the gods themselves. As the meal progressed, the couple noticed something extraordinary. The wine pitcher, which had been nearly empty, kept refilling itself, and the food seemed to multiply. Realizing their guests were divine, Baucis and Philemon fell to their knees in awe. Zeus and Hermes revealed their true identities and declared that the couple's kindness had earned them a special reward. The gods led them to a nearby hill where they watched as the rest of the village was destroyed in a flood, punished for their selfishness. Baucis and Philemon's cottage was transformed into a magnificent temple, and they were appointed as its caretakers. But the greatest gift came when the couple, now advanced in age, expressed their deepest wish to never be parted, even in death. The gods granted their request, and when their time came, Baucis and Philemon were transformed into two intertwined trees, an oak and a linden standing side by side for eternity. Their story is a rare beacon of hope in the realm of mythological love, highlighting the virtues of humility, selflessness, and the enduring power of a love that transcends even death. Unlike the tales of Narcissus and Echo or other tragic lovers, Baucis and Philemon's story reminds us that love, when rooted in kindness and mutual respect, can lead to divine rewards. Their enduring bond serves as a counterpoint to the fleeting passions and destructive obsessions we've seen in other myths. As we reflect on their legacy, we are reminded that true love is not about possession or vanity, but about giving, sharing, and standing together through life's trials. With this uplifting tale in mind, we now turn to another story of loyalty and devotion, where love is tested by the forces of nature and the whims of fate. Now turning to the story of Ceyx and Alcyone, we find a tale of unwavering loyalty and the profound depths of grief. Ceyx, the king of Trachis, was a devoted husband to Alcyone, and their love was the kind that poets and storytellers often dream of. Their bond was so strong that they were rarely apart, and their happiness seemed unshakable. But fate, as it often does in these myths, had other plans. Ceyx, needing to consult the oracle of Apollo, decided to make a journey across the sea. Alcyone, filled with foreboding, begged him not to go, fearing the dangers of the treacherous waters. But Ceyx, determined to fulfill his duty, assured her of his swift return. He set sail, leaving Alcyone to wait anxiously on the shore, her heart heavy with worry. As Ceyx's ship ventured further into the open sea, a violent storm arose, churning the waters into a tempest. The winds howled, and the waves towered like mountains, crashing down with relentless fury. Ceyx, realizing the peril he was in, called out to the gods, but his pleas were drowned by the storm's roar. The ship was shattered, and Ceyx, along with his crew, was swallowed by the sea. Back on land, Alcyone, unaware of her husband's fate, prayed daily to the gods for his safe return. She offered sacrifices and lit candles, her hope unwavering even as the days turned into weeks. But the gods, moved by her devotion and grief, decided to reveal the truth. In a dream, Orpheus, the god of dreams, appeared to Alcyone in the form of Ceyx, telling her of his tragic death at sea. Overcome with sorrow, Alcyone awoke and rushed to the shore, where she found Ceyx's lifeless body washed ashore. In her despair, Alcyone threw herself into the waves, determined to join her beloved in death. But the gods, touched by her loyalty and the depth of her love, intervened. They transformed Ceyx and Alcyone into kingfishers, birds known for their vibrant colors and their habit of nesting on the water's surface. As kingfishers, they were reunited, able to fly and live together for eternity. Each year during the halcyon days, a period of calm seas, the gods granted them peace, allowing them to build their nest and raise their young undisturbed. The story of Ceyx and Alcyone is a poignant reminder of the power of love and the lengths to which it can drive us. It speaks to the themes of loyalty, grief, and the hope of reunion even in the face of insurmountable loss. Their transformation into kingfishers symbolizes the enduring nature of love, a bond that not even death can sever. As we reflect on their tale, we are reminded that love, in its purest form, can transcend the boundaries of life and death, offering solace and hope in the darkest of times. With this story of devotion and divine intervention in mind, we now turn to another myth where love is tested by cunning and the whims of fate. Now turning to the story of Orpheus and Eurydice, we encounter a tale where love is intertwined with cunning and the unpredictable hand of fate. Orpheus, a young man from the island of Chios, fell deeply in love with Eurydice, a beautiful maiden from a noble family. However, their union seemed impossible, as Eurydice's family had already arranged her marriage to another suitor. Determined to win her heart, Orpheus devised a clever plan that would bind Eurydice to him forever. During a festival at the temple of Artemis, Orpheus inscribed an oath on an apple, a vow that read, "I swear by Artemis to marry Orpheus." He then rolled the apple towards Eurydice, who, unaware of the trick, picked it up and read the words aloud. In doing so, she unknowingly bound herself to the oath, invoking the wrath of the goddess Artemis if she were to break it. When Eurydice's family attempted to proceed with her arranged marriage, she fell ill each time, as if cursed by the goddess herself. Desperate to understand the cause of her suffering, her family consulted the oracle, who revealed the oath and the divine intervention at play. Reluctantly, Eurydice's family agreed to honor the oath, and she was wed to Orpheus. Though their union began under unusual circumstances, their love grew over time, proving that even the most unconventional beginnings can lead to genuine affection. Yet, their story carries a bittersweet tone, as it reminds us of the lengths one might go to for love and the role fate plays in shaping our lives. The themes of cunning, destiny, and the power of vows are central to this myth, offering a unique perspective on how love can be both a force of manipulation and a source of redemption. As we reflect on Orpheus and Eurydice's story, we are reminded that love often defies logic and convention, weaving its way through the threads of fate and human ingenuity. Their tale challenges us to consider the boundaries of devotion and the unexpected paths that love can take. With this story of cleverness and divine intervention in mind, we now move forward to another myth where love is tested by ambition and the consequences of defying the gods. Now turning to the story of Atalanta and Hippomenes, we find a tale where love is won through wit but lost through hubris. Atalanta, a renowned huntress and swift-footed warrior, was determined to remain unmarried, having been warned by an oracle that marriage would bring her misfortune. To deter suitors, she declared that she would only marry the man who could outrun her in a foot race. Those who failed would face death. Many tried and failed, their lives forfeited to her unmatched speed and skill. Enter Hippomenes, a young man who fell in love with Atalanta at first sight. Knowing he could not defeat her through strength alone, he turned to cunning. He prayed to Aphrodite, the goddess of love, for assistance. Aphrodite, moved by his devotion, gifted him 3 golden apples from her sacred garden. During the race, Hippomenes dropped the apples one by one, each time distracting Atalanta as she paused to retrieve them. Her momentary delays allowed him to cross the finish line first, winning her hand in marriage. At first, their union seemed a triumph of love and cleverness. However, their happiness was short-lived. In their joy, they forgot to honor Aphrodite for her aid. Enraged by their ingratitude, the goddess turned her favor to wrath. She caused Hippomenes and Atalanta to desecrate a sacred temple. an act that led to their transformation into lions, doomed to pull the chariot of the gods for eternity. The story of Atalanta and Hippomenes is a poignant reminder of the dangers of ambition and the consequences of disrespecting the divine. It explores themes of trickery, the fleeting nature of victory, and the inevitability of divine retribution. Their downfall serves as a cautionary tale, illustrating how even the most cleverly won love can unravel when pride and forgetfulness take hold. As we reflect on their fate, we are reminded that love, though powerful, is often intertwined with the whims of the gods and the fragility of human gratitude. With this tale of ambition and divine justice in mind, we now move forward to another myth, where love is marked by rivalry and unfulfilled longing. Now turning to the story of Isolde and Pyramus, we enter a lesser-known but deeply poignant tale of unrequited love and rivalry. This myth unfolds within the shadow of the famous love triangle between Tristan, Isolde, and King Mark, but it is Pyramus, a knight of noble heart and unyielding devotion, who adds a layer of tragedy to this already complex narrative. Pyramus, a valiant and honorable knight, fell deeply in love with Isolde, the wife of his king and the object of Tristan's own forbidden affection. Unlike Tristan, who shared a mutual and passionate bond with Isolde, Pyramus's love was one-sided, a quiet ache that he carried with him through every battle and every quiet moment. His devotion to Isolde was unwavering, yet she remained oblivious to his feelings, her heart already claimed by Tristan. Despite knowing that his love would never be returned, Pyramus continued to serve Isolde with loyalty and grace. He fought bravely in her honor, risking his life time and again, not for glory or recognition, but simply out of his deep affection for her. His unfulfilled longing became a silent burden, a testament to the pain of loving someone who could never love him back. The rivalry between Pyramus and Tristan added another layer of tragedy to this tale. While Tristan and Isolde's love was fraught with danger and betrayal, Pyramus's love was pure yet doomed from the start. His rivalry with Tristan was not born of malice but of a desperate desire to prove himself worthy of Isolde's attention, even if he knew it was futile. This unspoken competition between the two knights highlighted the themes of sacrifice and unfulfilled love, as Pyramus's devotion ultimately led him down a path of sorrow. In the end, Pyramus's story is one of quiet heroism and heartbreaking sacrifice. His love for Isolde remained unspoken and unreturned, a silent ache that defined his life. His tale serves as a reminder of the pain of unrequited love and the sacrifices made in the name of devotion, even when there is no hope of reward. As we reflect on Pyramus's tragic fate, we are reminded that love, in all its forms, can be as much a source of suffering as it is of joy. With this tale of unfulfilled longing and quiet sacrifice in mind, we now move forward to another myth where love takes a darker turn marked by obsession and betrayal. Now turning to the story of Scylla and Minos, we encounter a tale of love that spirals into betrayal and transformation. Scylla, the daughter of King Nissus of Megara, was a young woman whose life took a tragic turn when she fell deeply in love with Minos, the king of Crete. Her love, however, was not a simple infatuation but an all-consuming obsession that would lead her to make choices with devastating consequences. Scylla's father, King Nissus, possessed a magical lock of purple hair that ensured the safety and prosperity of his kingdom. When Minos laid siege to Megara, Scylla found herself torn between loyalty to her father and her overwhelming desire for Minos. In a moment of reckless passion, she betrayed her father and her people by cutting off the sacred lock of hair, handing it over to Minos in the hope of winning his love. Her actions led to the fall of Megara, but instead of gratitude or affection, Minos reacted with disgust. He rejected Scylla, horrified by her betrayal of her own family and kingdom. Heartbroken and abandoned, Scylla's despair only deepened. Her love for Minos, once so fervent, became a source of torment. In some versions of the myth, she was transformed into a monstrous sea creature, cursed to live out her days as a symbol of her betrayal and unrequited love. This transformation serves as a powerful metaphor for the destructive nature of obsession and the consequences of placing love above all else, even one's own morality and loyalty. The story of Scylla and Minos explores the darker side of love, where passion turns into obsession and leads to irreversible actions. Scylla's betrayal of her father and kingdom highlights the theme of loyalty versus desire, while her rejection by Minos underscores the pain of unrequited love. Her transformation into a monster serves as a stark reminder of how unchecked emotions can lead to self-destruction. As we reflect on Scylla's tragic fate, we are reminded that love, when driven by obsession, can become a force of destruction rather than connection. Her story stands as a cautionary tale, urging us to consider the consequences of our actions and the dangers of allowing love to consume us entirely. With this tale of betrayal and transformation in mind, we now move forward to another myth where love takes an even darker turn, marked by forbidden desire and devastating consequences. Now turning to the story of Phaedra and Hippolytus, we enter a realm of forbidden love and the catastrophic fallout of deceit. Phaedra, the wife of Theseus, found herself consumed by an illicit passion for her stepson, Hippolytus, a young man devoted to the goddess Artemis and a life of chastity. This forbidden desire, born of jealousy and longing, would set in motion a chain of events that led to tragedy for all involved. Phaedra's love for Hippolytus was not only taboo but also unreciprocated. Hippolytus, dedicated to his vows of purity, rejected her advances, leaving Phaedra in a state of despair and humiliation. Unable to bear the weight of her unfulfilled desire and fearing the consequences of her actions being discovered, Phaedra made a fateful decision. She falsely accused Hippolytus of attempting to seduce her, a lie that would have devastating repercussions. Theseus, enraged by his wife's accusations, called upon the god Poseidon to punish his son. Bound by a curse, Hippolytus met a tragic end, dragged to his death by his own horses as they were driven mad by Poseidon's power. Phaedra, consumed by guilt and shame, took her own life, unable to live with the consequences of her deceit. The story of Phaedra and Hippolytus is a harrowing exploration of the destructive power of forbidden desire and the lies it can spawn. Themes of jealousy, betrayal, and the consequences of unchecked emotions are central to this myth. Phaedra's actions, driven by her inability to reconcile her feelings, highlight the dangers of allowing passion to override reason and morality. Hippolytus's tragic fate underscores the devastating impact of false accusations and the fragility of trust within relationships. As we reflect on this tale, we are reminded of the destructive potential of forbidden love and the lies it can engender. Phaedra's story serves as a cautionary reminder of the importance of honesty and the need to confront our emotions with integrity, lest they lead us down a path of ruin. With this tragic tale of forbidden desire and its consequences in mind, we now move forward to another myth where love takes an even darker turn, marked by betrayal and vengeance. Now turning to the story of Jason and Medea, we encounter a love that begins with passion but descends into betrayal and vengeance. Jason, the famed leader of the Argonauts, sought the Golden Fleece to reclaim his rightful throne. To achieve this, he enlisted the help of Medea, a powerful sorceress and princess of Colchis. Medea, driven by her love for Jason, betrayed her family and homeland, using her magic to aid him in his quest. Her devotion was absolute, but it would soon become clear that Jason's loyalty was far less steadfast. After securing the Golden Fleece, Jason and Medea fled together, eventually settling in Corinth. For a time, their life seemed peaceful and they had 2 sons. However, Jason's ambition and desire for power led him to abandon Medea in favor of a politically advantageous marriage to the daughter of Corinth's king. This betrayal shattered Medea, who had sacrificed everything for Jason. Her love, once pure and selfless, turned into a consuming rage. Medea's revenge was as calculated as it was brutal. She sent a poisoned robe to Jason's new bride, causing her to die in agony. But Medea's vengeance did not stop there. In a final, heart-wrenching act, she killed her own children to ensure Jason would suffer the ultimate loss. Her actions, though horrifying, were driven by a desire to inflict the same pain she had endured, a pain born of betrayal and the destruction of the love she had once cherished. The story of Jason and Medea is a stark exploration of the darker aspects of love. Medea's transformation from a devoted lover to a vengeful figure highlights the destructive potential of betrayal and the lengths to which one might go when love turns to hatred. Jason's actions, driven by ambition and selfishness, serve as a reminder of the consequences of taking loyalty and devotion for granted. Themes of betrayal, vengeance, and the corrupting power of unchecked emotions are central to this myth. Medea's story forces us to confront the darker side of love, how it can inspire both great sacrifice and unimaginable cruelty. As we reflect on this tale, we are reminded that love, when twisted by betrayal, can become a force of destruction rather than creation. With this tragic story of love turned to vengeance in mind, we now move forward to another myth, where love is tested by jealousy and mistrust, leading to yet another heartbreaking conclusion. Now turning to the story of Procris and Cephalus, we encounter a love that is deeply tested by jealousy and mistrust, ultimately leading to a heartbreaking conclusion. Procris, a devoted and loyal wife, was married to Cephalus, a skilled hunter. Their love seemed unshakable, but it would soon be strained by suspicion and doubt. One day, Cephalus began to spend long hours in the forest, hunting and enjoying the solitude. Procris, noticing his frequent absences, grew increasingly suspicious. She began to fear that her husband's time away from home might be due to an affair. Consumed by jealousy, she decided to test his loyalty. Disguising herself, she followed him into the woods, hoping to catch him in an act of betrayal. When Cephalus heard rustling in the bushes, he mistook it for an animal and threw his spear, unaware that it was his wife in disguise. Tragically, the spear struck Procris, mortally wounding her. As she lay dying, the truth was revealed, and Cephalus was overcome with grief and guilt. The couple's love, once strong and trusting, had been shattered by suspicion and a lack of communication. The story of Procris and Cephalus serves as a poignant reminder of the fragility of relationships. Their love, though genuine, was unable to withstand the weight of mistrust and jealousy. Themes of trust, suspicion, and the consequences of doubt are central to this myth. It forces us to reflect on how easily love can be undermined by fear and insecurity, and how important open communication and trust are in maintaining a strong bond. As we consider this tragic tale, we are reminded that love, no matter how deep, can be fragile. It requires care, understanding, and the ability to overcome doubt. With this story in mind, we now move forward to another myth, where love is intertwined with guilt and unintended consequences, leading to yet another sorrowful ending. Now turning to the story of Deianira and Hercules, we find a love that is both passionate and tragically flawed. Deianira, a devoted wife, was deeply in love with Hercules, the legendary hero known for his strength and valor. Their marriage seemed to be a union of mutual admiration and affection, but it would soon be tested by a series of misunderstandings and unintended actions. One day, while traveling together, Hercules and Deianira encountered a river that needed to be crossed. A centaur named Nessus offered to carry Deianira across, but during the crossing, he attempted to abduct her. Hercules, enraged by this betrayal, shot Nessus with a poisoned arrow. As the centaur lay dying, he gave Deianira a cloak soaked in his blood, deceitfully claiming it had the power to ensure Hercules' eternal love and fidelity. Unaware of the centaur's true intentions, Deianira kept the cloak, believing it to be a gift of protection for her husband. Years later, when Deianira began to suspect that Hercules might be falling for another woman, she remembered the cloak. Hoping to rekindle his love, she sent it to him as a gift. Tragically, the cloak was not a token of love but a deadly trap. the blood of Nessus, tainted by the poison from Hercules' arrow, burned Hercules' skin, causing him unbearable pain. Despite his immense strength, Hercules could not escape the agony, and he ultimately chose to end his suffering by building a funeral pyre and immolating himself. Deianira, devastated by the unintended consequences of her actions, was consumed by guilt. Realizing that her attempt to secure her husband's love had led to his death, she took her own life in despair. The story of Deianira and Hercules is a heartbreaking exploration of love, guilt, and the devastating impact of unintended actions. It reminds us that even the purest intentions can lead to tragic outcomes when fueled by fear and insecurity. As we reflect on this tale, we are reminded of the delicate balance between love and trust, and how easily fear can cloud judgment. With this story in mind, we now move forward to another myth, where love is tested by betrayal and abandonment, leading to yet another sorrowful chapter in the annals of tragic love. Now turning to the story of Ariadne and Theseus, we encounter a tale of love, betrayal, and unexpected redemption. Ariadne, the daughter of King Minos of Crete, played a pivotal role in helping Theseus, the Athenian hero, navigate the labyrinth and slay the fearsome Minotaur. Deeply in love with Theseus, she provided him with a ball of thread to guide his way out of the maze, ensuring his success and survival. Grateful for her aid, Theseus promised to take her with him to Athens, where they would be married. However, as they sailed away from Crete, Theseus's promise began to unravel. Stopping on the island of Naxos, Theseus abandoned Ariadne while she slept, leaving her heartbroken and alone. The reasons for his betrayal remain shrouded in mystery. Some say he was following the will of the gods, while others suggest he simply lost interest in her. Whatever the cause, Ariadne's despair was profound, as she found herself stranded on a remote island, betrayed by the man she had risked everything to save. But Ariadne's story does not end in sorrow. As she wept on the shores of Naxos, the god Dionysus, the deity of wine and revelry, discovered her. Moved by her beauty and resilience, Dionysus fell in love with Ariadne and offered her a new life as his immortal bride. Together, they ascended to Mount Olympus, where Ariadne became a goddess, her suffering transformed into eternal joy. The tale of Ariadne and Theseus explores themes of betrayal, resilience, and the possibility of finding love after loss. Ariadne's journey reminds us that even in the face of heartbreak, there is hope for renewal and happiness. Her story also highlights the complexities of human relationships, where love and loyalty can be overshadowed by selfishness and fear. As we reflect on Ariadne's resilience and her eventual union with Dionysus, we are reminded that love, though often fraught with challenges, can also lead to unexpected blessings. With this story in mind, we now turn to the final chapter of our exploration, where we will witness the enduring love between a mortal and a goddess, a bond that transcends the boundaries of life and death. Now turning to the final story in our journey through tragic love tales, we arrive at the poignant myth of Endymion and Selene. Endymion, a mortal shepherd of extraordinary beauty, captured the heart of Selene, the goddess of the moon. Each night, as Selene guided her luminous chariot across the sky, she would gaze down upon Endymion, her love for him growing deeper with every passing moment. Their bond, though profound, was marked by an insurmountable divide. Selene was immortal, while Endymion was destined to age and perish like all mortals. Unable to bear the thought of losing him, Selene approached Zeus, the king of the gods, with a desperate plea. She asked Zeus to grant Endymion eternal sleep, a state in which he would neither age nor die, allowing her to visit him each night in his dreams. Moved by her devotion, Zeus agreed, and Endymion was placed in an everlasting slumber within a cave on Mount Latmos. There he lay in perfect stillness, untouched by time, while Selene continued her nightly journey across the heavens, descending to his side to share moments of quiet intimacy. The story of Endymion and Selene is a testament to the enduring power of love, even in the face of impossible odds. It explores the bittersweet nature of longing, as Selene's eternal devotion is met with the silence of Endymion's unending sleep. Their tale also underscores the divide between the divine and the mortal, a theme that resonates throughout mythology, reminding us of the fragile and fleeting nature of human life. As we conclude our exploration of these 20 tragic love stories, we are left with a profound sense of the complexities of love, its capacity to inspire, to wound, and to endure. From the depths of despair to the heights of divine union, these myths remind us that love, in all its forms, is a force that shapes destinies and transcends the boundaries of time and mortality. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the heartbreaks and triumphs of mythological love. If these stories moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more captivating tales from the ancient world. Until next time, may your own stories of love be filled with light and hope. Now turning to the conclusion of our journey through these 20 tragic love stories, we find ourselves reflecting on the timeless themes that bind them together. From the depths of the underworld to the heights of the heavens, these tales have shown us the power of love to inspire, to destroy, and to endure. Whether it is the trust tested in the story of Orpheus and Eurydice, the youthful passion of Pyramus and Thisbe, or the eternal longing of Selene for Endymion, each story reveals a facet of love's complexity. Fate, as we've seen, plays a relentless role in these myths, often weaving threads of destiny that lovers cannot escape. Sacrifice, too, is a recurring motif, whether it is heroes' leap into the sea or Dido's self-inflicted end. Love demands everything, even life itself. And yet, amidst the heartbreak, there is a bittersweet beauty in these stories, a reminder that love, even when tragic, leaves an indelible mark on the world. As we close this chapter, we invite you to reflect on these tales and the lessons they hold. Which story resonated with you the most? Was it the devotion of Hero and Leander, the cunning of Aconteus and Cydippe, or the eternal union of Baucis and Philemon? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear which mythological love story touched your heart. If you enjoyed this journey through the myths of love and loss, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more captivating tales from the ancient world. Until next time, may your own stories of love be filled with light, hope, and the courage to face whatever challenges come your way. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.